The difficult conversation you need to have with the CEO. When we began providing our social media traction services in early 2009, most of our conversations that we had with CEOs dealt with objections they had to getting their business involved with social media at all. What was the point of social media? Was it safe? Who would manage all the day-to-day operations? Was it going to be a waste of time or money? Would it all lead to a bunch of chaos? Those early discussions often centered around case studies of intrepid companies who had forged ahead with social media, what those pioneers did right, and how some of them fell on their face. But it seemed that the obstacle for all of us was, should we take the plunge? Now, 3 years later, the discussions that we have with CEOs are not, should we get involved discussions, but rather, how do we make social media work for us discussions. Is there a right way to get started? Who should be responsible for running the social media effort? Where and how much of our resources should we invest? It's a difficult conversation to have with a CEO because there's no secret formula. Everyone's situation is going to be different. And when it comes to using social media in your business, assembly line thinking isn't going to work. If you've been tasked with integrating social media into your business, or if you're the CEO, you may ask yourself, what's my next step? We suggest you consider the following 3 phases. The critical phases your CEO needs to understand. Phase 1 is forming the foundation. Start with an official vision statement of the potential benefits the company will gain from using social media. Now, don't overthink this or use lots of jargon in your vision statement. Keep it simple. For example, we want to use social media to raise awareness of charitable organizations in our community. Something simple. Or, we will use social media tools like LinkedIn to understand details about or how to sell more to our existing customers. Again, very simple. This vision should emphasize direct and specific business value, always keeping the customer's needs and wants at the forefront of your thinking. Phase 2 is creating content, and this is where the rubber meets the road. Please understand that nothing happens without content. Content is the literal lifeblood of social media. You must make it clear to the CEO that without a dedicated effort to create content, your social media effort will go absolutely nowhere. Now, this doesn't mean that the CEO has to be responsible for the day-to-day social media operations of the company, but they must provide firm support for the people that they've tasked with content creation. That won't happen without a clear understanding on the CEO's part of why they're committing time and resources to the initiative. And it won't happen if team members are unclear about what is expected and how it will benefit them. The CEO must be willing to motivate and hold their team accountable. The good news is that content creation doesn't have to be a Herculean task. It can be as simple as taking a picture of a coworker and providing one paragraph summary of who they are, what they do, how and when they interact with customers. That is, if you want this guy interacting with your customers. Phase 3 is analyzing the results. What tends to be the most difficult part of this conversation with the CEO is getting them to understand that the world of social media is filled with user data and statistics. But just because things can be measured doesn't make the measurement important. However, if you have taken the time to establish a good foundational purpose, analyzing the results will be very simple. The key is keeping the connection between the purpose and the objectives simple. If your purpose as a roofer is to brand your business as a local business in Williamsburg, Virginia, design a social media campaign that rewards customers for submitting pictures of your business's yard sign in front of their homes, and then track how many people submit or tag your business in their pictures. If your purpose as a health club operator is to increase participation in your group exercise classes, incorporate a Foursquare promotion that rewards members for class attendance by giving them a free energy drink in exchange for sharing their check-in on Twitter and Facebook, and then track the check-ins and class attendance numbers. We'll conclude with this. CEOs have a moral and ethical responsibility to ensure that the resources they commit to any initiative will have some sort of positive return on their investment. While there are lots of conflicting messages out there about the return on investment of social media, what we do know for certain is that with proper planning and a little creativity, social media can be used in profound and measurable ways to improve your business.